Man, this game boring as shit, bro. This is a game I've wanted to cover for a minute, but I haven't done so because I struggle to buy any games over $2. I'm extremely frugal, I know, but this game kept capturing my attention. A first-person dog sledding thriller, plays a sled dog musher hired to transport a scientist deep into the unforgiving wastes of the Arctic. How could I not buy it with a description like that? Sure, it's out of my budget, but it seems like a unique premise. It's even got that lovely PS1 type aesthetic that I seem to gravitate towards for some reason. I don't know, maybe it's that lovely dithering. So, here I am. Not exactly sure what's going on, though. There's been zero exposition, and I'm certainly not opposed to that. I take this over a long, drawn-out intro cutscene, I don't know, probably like Final Fantasy. Final Fantasy seems like it would have long cutscenes. And through the dialogue, I've understood that I, a dog musher, have been hired to transport this guy through the Arctic. Makes me wonder if a sled dog musher would make good money to be transporting some random dude. I imagine a grueling job such as this would make less than minimum wage. Anyway, this guy is saying how he's returning to— whoa, that's a harsh transition, Jesus. That was so sudden I got whiplash from it. I also got whiplash from immediately crashing my sled, and the scientist is a real dick about it. What do you pay me for? Come on, man, accidents happen, and frankly, I don't like your attitude. Don't piss off your Arctic dog sledding guide. I'll purposely strand you out here with no remorse. Well, maybe I do have a bit of remorse, because I let the guy back on the sled and I see some pixels out in the distance. Can you tell what it is? I can't, and that's because this game looks like a charming potato. Alright, I think it's a house. I'll just follow you in, and goddamn, this is jarring. I'll follow along even though I thought I was the guide. All your efforts up to this point will be matched twofold, or worse. Well, that's sufficiently ominous. I feel like I'm gonna go meet the 1982 thing Alien, and I like that. I really like aliens, man. Aliens would make this game a 10 out of 10 in my book. I get a fire in the center of my vision. I may have gotten an ocular migraine from that fall I took earlier. I'll wake up or whatever to Shooty Bang Bang, and I love Shooty Bang Bang. I shoot a deer and well, it looks like some snot came out of the body, but with hindsight, I think this is mushrooms. Oh, and I go in for a quick confirmation kill as the scientist collects the mushrooms. Another jump cut and I'm in a spooky forest with deer all around me. So I just start shooting, as I have a gun and targets. It's not animal cruelty if it's a video game, damn it. You need to use these mushrooms you find to lure the deer in, but I found it much more effective to just go looking for them, because they're everywhere and they're pretty dumb. Seriously, these must be like domesticated deer, because they'll just walk right up to you and let you pop them in the head. Not even a second thought about it. It's like someone's out here feeding them. Looks like I found our scientist at a crucifix, and alright, another jump cut. These must be jumps in time or something. They're intentional, though I don't know the chronological order of these events. You'll learn not to place much trust in your senses here, least of all your memory. Or chronology for that matter, man. We really are in the absolute void out here. I'm not sure how much I'm guiding him or he's guiding me. I trust the dogs know what they're doing. Hell, I sure don't. I'm just going forward into the fog without the faintest idea of what's ahead. It's like I'm in Christmas Silent Hill or something. And there's just deer everywhere. And the scientist has hinted that the deer, aren't right. How they show unusual behaviors. And I mean, hell, I killed one and it dropped green mushrooms, so that definitely isn't normal. Not typical deer behavior at all. Find another house and I start to wonder what the hell is even in it. They look like murder shacks, but I'd imagine there's a reason we're going here other than that, seeing how I haven't been murdered yet. Let me say I don't trust this guy. He's a little testy and just has an odd vibe all around. I imagine we spent the whole day here as it cuts to nighttime and we are sledding by the light of a lantern, which makes me uneasy. The background droning ambience doesn't do a lot to contain my anxiety. I can just hardly see the back of the dogs and the outline of the valley we're going through. And it's quite odd the scientist hasn't told us what we were even out here for. This place is the Civ. Pass through and you shall find all imagined woes have been left behind. But I know this. The ghosts that give chase through the gray will never leave your side. Man, are we talking real ghosts or metaphorical ghosts? As soon as I see a real ghost, I'm turning the game off, no debate. This game does seem to have something paranormal going on, but the source of it I'm not exactly sure. Sort of a hunch. I mean, I am playing a PSX indie horror game. A game like this wouldn't be much without a little bit of the paranormal. Have I told you what became of the deathless deer? No, I think I would have remembered that one, man. Sounds like a story you couldn't forget. All of a sudden, we jump cut to some mushing, and then the sled without the scientist, begging the question of where the hell he would have even gone out here. This isn't the sort of place you just want to walk away and find a Wendy's hamburger. It appears I may have gotten us lost. Little does this guy know, I've been lost the entire time. Haven't had a single clue, and he really doesn't need to know that. I've been paid, so I'm trying to fulfill my obligation I made without any idea of how to do so. Which is fine, I suppose. It's kind of like lying on your resume and getting the job anyway. That's how I became a doctor. And this guy keeps berating me with questions. Lost? Now where are you taking us? Lost? This guy's just mocking me. I really hate his attitude. He's lucky I haven't flipped the sled for a second time. He finally hits me with something insightful and essentially tells me to start following the deer. He proceeds to tell me all about how he cut out the deer's eyes and ears for science. Apparently it had another sense it was relying on to find its way. There is something definitely up with these deer and I really don't like it. I don't know if we're dealing with paranormal animals or not. I've had enough of disturbed animals since Squirrel Stapler. What the hell was that sound? I think there's an avalanche or something nearby. Aw, shit. I guess that deer the scientist mutilated told his buddies now we're Mufasa ripe for the stampede. So yeah, I get trampled a few times. I actually get to enter one of the little murder shacks and it's full of loosely connected lore bits and journal entries. One reads that the light would never lead us further into the gray, which reminds me of the light that keeps appearing in my vision. Another passage says they keep ending up where they started, which begs the question of have we made any progress at all? Is this one of the same shacks we've come to before? It's hard to say, but I almost feel like Sisyphus rolling the boulder up the mountain. The only way to ease this feeling was to give the dogs some pets, which is a lovely feature. 10 out of 10 game now. They'll kind of tilt their heads and seem to enjoy it, which is just wholesome. This guy keeps drinking what I imagine is some good old firewater to keep warm, which is nice and all, but I can't help but feel jealous. What with having to go to meetings and all? He says yet again that we can't trust our memory, but this time he alludes to his memories no longer being his own, which strengthens the whole paranormal thing. Something is taking control of our minds out here. Oh, and a deer rams me off the sled, which I think might not be the most unusual thing for a deer to do, but I'm still salty about it, so I shoot it and I move on. By firelight, our scientist friend, quote-unquote, decides that we need to ingest poison to let rot set in and replace old flesh with new. Since I'm apparently the outsider, I guess I'll take it. I literally can't say no. So I guess this is what he's been drinking out of that bottle, which seems counterintuitive to the whole, staying alive thing. He's still kicking around though, so it must not be that bad. Hey man, drop the knife, dude. I don't know what you plan on using that for, but I don't like it. I passed out and I wake up tied up to a chair with mushrooms growing out of my limbs. I don't know if that poison was supposed to kill me or what, but I'm really the only one to blame for this situation considering I just kind of drank that shit without a second thought. Also, how long had I been out that mushrooms started to grow on me? Must have been a damn good sleep. People would pay good money for that kind of rest. I'm able to get untied through the powers of eating mushrooms, which is pretty neat. I'm sure there's some stoners in the audience cheering in the comments. So with newfound mushroom powers, I find my lantern and make my escape. I follow some sled tracks into the fog, and the trail's littered with dead deer, which is just damn wasteful. I found some live ones too, and I immediately went to reach for my gun that I don't have, because ever since the ramming incident and the stampede, I no longer trust these deer. Suddenly the trail ends, but I do find some mushrooms, so I'll have to use their powers to find my way through the fog. It will certainly give me a new perspective on where to go, but I think it's more likely that I'll just get the fear and hyperventilate for 8 hours. I'm definitely starting to see things, though I don't know if it can be attributed to these wild mushrooms or the paranormal happenings of the Arctic. I find another shack, and this one is quite literally a murder shack. There's two gutted dead guys that almost look like mannequins. They're really undetailed, which just kind of makes them a little extra spooky. I read some things and leave to go find my dogs, who all get scratches for being good boys. Once all the dogs are reunited, I trek back out onto the sled and follow some deer until I get shot in the back of the head. But I'm a real G like the courier from New Vegas, so I survive. Maybe it's these damn mushrooms I've been eating. The dogs are kind of fake friends and just ran off. Maybe it's because I lost them in the middle of the Arctic and they're salty. There's no way to tell. I'm running around in this void of snow while random people are just taking pot shots at me. I'm able to shoot them back because it's a video game, goddamn. After game ending like 12 different people that may or may not have been real, I drank the scientist's poison. Except this time it's the whole bottle. It just went so well the last time, right? Might as well drink it all. We cut back to the sled, except this time we're carrying the dead scientist with us. This begs the question of, has any of this even been real? Has this been a dream sequence? Are we in the Matrix? Or have the events been skewed by some paranormal force? Either way, the game ends quite solemnly with a side view of the sled before cutting and going to the credits. I don't understand any of what happened.